to see if that comes into play here.
Oh well, Droopy. I don't know if you watched a little guy named No Regret, but No Regret has some pretty awesome ZVZ builds on this map that involve the gold expansions. That's one of the sometimes overlooked parts of this map. You wouldn't think it, but there's some really crazy stuff you can do with those golds very early on, and still somehow get away with defending those in the center of the map. You would never believe it, but it can happen. And we'll see if either of these players have anything crazy planned as we jump into the game.
All right, so ZVZ Expedition Lost LE going to be the first game in a best of 3. We do have here the Yellow Zerg spawning on the upper right-hand side and representing BrwL Esports, which happens, by the way, to be a sponsor of RSL. Ladies and gentlemen, we have here PandaBearMe.
And his opponent, spawning down in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, representing Team Gravity, is the Korean, once again, Gamja.
So both players going for that extractor trick. Obviously something that is proprietary to Zerg. So, always fun to see that.
You know, I always love sharing this little bit of knowledge that I learned a long time ago about the extractor trick and why players do it. If one thing that you might notice is most foreign players don't like to do the extractor trick. They like to do overpool. Or sorry, not overpool. They like to go for the overlord, right? Like they just go for the overlord nice and early.
Yeah.
It all lines up just fine. Because why would you go for the extractor trick? You're literally wasting minerals. It seems like an insignificant amount, but still, why would you do it, right? It's a small little disadvantage. But the reason why a lot of Koreans are very set in their habit of going for the extractor trick is that if there is a 6 pool, you have one extra drone at the exact time that 6 pool is hitting to get a slightly little bit better defense, as opposed to the just standard overlord opening. And I find that small little, it's like the smallest, teeniest little advantage. But I love that kind of stuff, those small little optimizations. So there you go. If you didn't know that, audience, then today you learned that Feardragon heard that from a Korean.
And one thing to also add to that is a map like Expedition Lost LE, only 2 spawning locations for both players, so 6 pool, very possible. But on a map like Iron Fortress or Infernal Pool, should someone not have that vetoed?
Oh, that's an interesting thought. I'm going to pay more attention to that. See if the Koreans are more likely to extractor trick on a 4-player map versus a 2-player map.
Yeah. Well, looks like both players have gone for 15 hatches here, and then adding on the pools and the gas afterwards. We got a couple queens coming out here. PandaBearMe, who I believe went for a pool, so hatch pool gas, and then Gamja going for gas a little sooner. Yeah, that's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, Gamja able to start up that Zergling speed much earlier on than PandaBearMe, but they are both going for Zergling speed. It's just kind of the rate at which they're going to be getting it, and there's small little differences, but unless Gamja decides to go for some giant attack in the next minute, 2 minutes, I don't think it should play an enormous difference.
No, I mean, I see Zergs always have these variations, but I never see them making a big difference. Never, because Defender's advantage usually mitigates a lot of these differences in research, and when you're fighting on your own creep, you have less places to travel, so it's not like a big difference.
Droopy, I agree.
Yeah.
But this is turning to be not a small difference. It's turning to be a pretty big difference. PandaBearMe is skipping speed. But I want to note, he didn't open gasless. He's been mining gas. He skips speed. And this may be a very, very fast lair tech. This might be insanely fast Mutilus? But no, Gamja's going for lair tech for PandaBearMe. Okay, so we have what is PandaBearMe planning? He's been just banking up gas.
I guess some kind of roach timing attack, because he just had the roach horn, so I mean, it's not like I came up with something incredibly out of left field here. But a lot of times someone could just go right into Roach 1-1 with speed. He is getting the lair right now, and he just may want to go for that one big timing. Gamja, is he going to skip ahead of that here with his even faster lair and just go into Mutas? Because I've seen that come out of him before.
Yeah.
He just forgets the Roach thing altogether.
Oh, you know what? You know what smells of Mutalisk? Taking all of your gas geysers and dropping down a spine crawler. That is smelling of Mutalisk like nothing else. There's a Spire.
Yeah,
good call, Droopy. And here's the way that this is gonna play out. PandaBearMe is gonna have his roaches out, and it's gonna be before the Mutalisk pop out. So he has this small little window of opportunity where he wants to move across the map. One, make sure that no third is being taken, but two, try and split up his roaches and do as much damage as possible to buy himself time, to force the Mutalisk to stay at home and defend while he gets up Spore Crawlers and gets up his own third expansion. Now, whether or not that's going to work out, whether or not he's going to be able to hit that timing exactly as he wants to, that's still yet to be seen, but he's got to start considering it moving out really, really soon.
Yeah, timing is so important in this situation, because if you can hit just before that Muta count gets to a good amount, even if Mutas are just, firing their glaives at you, you're still doing a lot of DPS worth of damage on, the buildings, drones, whatever. And by the time the Mutas finish the job in defending, your opponent might not have much left. But, of course, that comes back to when you attack, because if you attack too late, then the Mutas will, be in a higher number, and then suddenly you're in a lot of trouble, because the Mutas will counterattack you, and you're going to be throwing up spores everywhere, which means you're sacrificing drones that should have been mining, so on and so forth. So here we go with the push out from PandaBearMe.
Yep, already got a big little, small little Zergling counterattack on the other side of the map. I really actually like this play over here. And with some transfuses, PandaBearMe can save these queens, but he's not paying attention to it. He's trying to deal with these roaches that are moving down the map.
Yeah, he's lost both the queens there, which is bad, and the Mutas are out now. Gamja gonna get a head start on attacking by putting his Mutas out in front of the bases. These roaches from PandaBearMe gonna go after the third first, and I think it shouldn't be too hard for him to take this out, but he's gonna lose a lot of roaches here to these Mutas.
Yeah, when you go for this kind of roach attack, you're looking to sacrifice the roaches, but oh my god, he's not focus firing down the third, he's going at the Zerglings. This is going to become a bit questionable. I don't know if he's going to get this third anymore. Oh no, poor PandaBearMe.
Yeah, that's not good at all. He's going to have some more roaches streaming in here, but in reality, I think it's just too late. That timing is gone. The window is closed. 4 spines going to greet the roaches that head to the natural, and it's not a happy welcome. PandaBearMe has to tuck his tail in between his legs and go home.
Yeah, the split up from PandaBearMe came, I think, a little bit too late if he wanted to try and do something like that. There was more than enough time for Gamja to get the spine crawlers. Not focus firing down the fourth expansion, or the third expansion, I can kind of understand, because it does get a little bit scary. You don't want to lose too much without trading out some of your opponent's army, but look at this. Now even the Mutals count is too high for these queens to deal with, and there's some spores, but there's no semblance of map control over here for PandaBearMe. He is completely cornered. He can't even really defend his third expansion very well, and he can't put on any counter pressure whatsoever.
Yeah, this goes back to him losing those 2 queens early on. Imagine the difference that, could have been made there.
Yeah.
Spore focus down on the natural, and now there's just really no anti-air here to defend these tech structures, which is crucial. And then, talking about tech, I'm just baffled as to why Roach Speed is only being finished up now. He went for the supremely early layer, and he didn't get Roach Speed to, help his Roach timing attack. So I'm confused right now, and well, Gamja is gonna be the benefactor of it. He's up 1-0.
Yep, Gamja gonna get a very, very solid lead with a just solid ZVZ. He had a game